Okay, this is a video of what are the blinds in my bedroom, which are closed. The maintenance of the light source at what is 5:27 p.m. that is still in alignment with me, meaning it is outside of my bedroom window at 5:27 in the afternoon. This is after capturing it on video for you to witness and instill images at 8:55 in the morning. I am inside of the same apartment. So let's count, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 9 hours later. Over 8 hours later, specifically 9 hours would be at 5:55 p.m. About 20, a little over 20 minutes away from there. That has nothing to do. Clearly, this is not even sunlight. I'm giving you duration of time analysis. Not only is this not sunlight, which it has nothing to do with sunlight, you are witnessing the elements of monitoring while you're listening to the helicopter. That's the terrorist organization. Those are demons stalking in a helicopter while you're looking at what is the presence of the demon possessed monitoring me inside of my apartment. This is why engineered light is all over my ceiling, which is not sunlight. And you also know that because that's why a light source that's not possibly the sun is scientific impossibility. That the sun would be in any position outside of my bedroom window, inside of the same apartment where I was present at 8:55 on video, which is it's over 8 hours ago this morning, which is to the exclusion that the sun is anywhere over Uber headquarters in San Francisco, California, or anyone in Oakland, let me be clear, even the courthouse in downtown LA, while it is outside of my bedroom window. Okay, the pattern of conduct is such that where I go, the light source goes, which is not the natural environment. Where I remain is where the light source remains. And this is where the entity is stalking in helicopter, and that's that audible activity, which is also crossing path. That's relevant positioning by the state. And relevant positioning is occurring while the people of the state are living on the grounds of the property, engaging in ongoing relevant positioning and activity creation while the demons are crawling all around me, all outside and in the sky space, both on the property and all around the property, which is group stalking and monitoring. So this is what I'm capturing as I'm showing video. It's 5:30 p.m. Let me show you the light source. This is engineered light that's also on my bed, just so that you can see. This is indeed the engineered light. It's not sunlight, and it's also occurring on the ceiling while you are hearing audible activity of helicopter. That's the federal prosecution of the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department who are engaged in ongoing progressive terrorism, while they are not only engaged in terrorism, and also criminal surveillance in concert with the people of the state, which is occurring online as well. They are also doing so in concert with the people of the state. That is literally while the state is engaging in this system of surveillance. It is the direct prosecution of the people of the state. The state's direct engagement in the criminal pattern of conduct is the vicarious criminal activity of the people of the state. You literally have the government prosecuting its criminal co-conspirator, the people. And that's why that which is not possibly the sun is outside of my bedroom window. You can see it through the windshields of the vehicles parked at the property. That's an impossibility that the sun would be in any position to see through any vehicle parked at the same property where I am inside of my apartment, the same apartment, at 8:55 in the morning. Nor does any sun that's over us create what is this light on my ceiling. That's how you know what and what they're doing. That's a demon, and that's called crossing path. And they are under what is a phenomenon that this is still in alignment to me. This is the same position where you see it in the video that I reminded you about, captured on June 5th, 2024, coming from the California DMV, which is in Glendale, and the entity engaged in what is a grand departure from keeping the light source over me at the leasing office location, because I went to Glendale where demons like that are crossing path on Glenview, and the light source is over my head at that DMV, and those demons are crossing path and engineered lights moving all across the building of the DMV, which I captured on video. This is the property where the entity is maintaining a light source all outside of the bounds of nature, and this engineered light that's appearing on my ceiling is all outside of the bounds of nature while ongoing surveillance of a demonic nature. Those are demons that are pacing, and those demons know that they're being documented. That impunity is attributed to the accounts of the people of the state that live at Alvarado Gardens, all of whom are going to federal prison. And this impunity and malice is going to be specifically accounted for in their federal prosecution, which will be individualized only in that federal prosecution. For now, all of the entity is acting as one. one demon after another crossing path, doing so with impunity. This is the entity that's acting as one. That's why your work schedule is legally irrelevant. The demons are engaging in overtime maintenance of joint presence and activity creation in concert with the demons that are a corrupt law enforcement agency in crossing paths just like they are on the roads and the highways. That's not sunlight that's on the street that those demons are driving in. It's engineered light. They're engaging in surveillance and they are driving in what you see appearing above my head. Now that the window is open, you can see what are multiple layers of engineered light. This is the closed blinds, all right? And so you can see the blinds are closed and you have what is light that's piercing through closed blinds. You have a shadow that's immediately above the top also. So I want you to see this. And then you have the engineered light that's appearing at a great angle into the depths of the apartment on the ceiling. This is what the people of the state are driving in. This is what the demons that are the terrorist organization, the masquerading as a law enforcement agency in the United States where terrorism is underway, and it is demonic, and the entity is engaged in what is practicing a demonic targeting system in concert with the constituents of the state of California. Tiffany Sherez, okay? Exhibit A, going to be prosecuted as the terrorist that she is engaging in animalistic criminal conduct with a corrupt law enforcement agency, and for that, and for her criminal facilitation of minor children engaging in that sexually violent and terrorist system, she is going to federal prison, and she represents the entirety of the people of the state who sought to obstruct justice while engaging in what is seeking to silence the one whom she and all of the state of California is criminally monitoring. That's why speaker companies, everybody at that corporate office is going to federal prison. While you see 4 shadows on my ceiling, it is serving for what is the federal prosecution of the people of the state who are to date engaging in that criminal conduct. Okay. It is, by the way, 5:34 p.m. The light source remains in the same position where it was, that is over me inside of the same apartment I was inside of at 8:55 in the morning. This is not sunlight inside. This is called engineered light that's appearing both above and below. And that is not sunlight on the building. All right. The creation of the shape of the windows, which is engineered light that's hitting the opposite buildings. None of that is. You're understanding the angle of the engineered light that's just manifesting all over it. And remember, that engineered light has nothing to do with the light source. As you saw the engineered light appearing in the depths of my dark hallway while the light source is outside of the bedroom window. Okay, that was at 3 o'clock. All right, the entity is maintaining engineered light all over the property, and you're understanding what is the demonic. And the demonic is appearing right in front of your face, and it's highly deceptive in its appearance. So you are literally systematically breaking that down, and it's serving for what is a act committed by the government. That's actually the government crossing path, not an individual exercising no privacy rights. And the government is engaging in what is massive group stalking of a sexually violent nature. The state's going to be prosecuted as a sex offender and a terrorist, because that's exactly what it is, while they are using helicopters. And by the way, in possession of what is very serious conduct, such as not only but you have armored vehicles by corrupt agents like this. They're flying over my apartment, just like you heard, because I can't hear any helicopter through inside of my apartment where they're flying at that distance. It's engaging in what is crossing path, just like the entity is crossing path on Alvarado. The entity is doing nothing other than flying in circles while they are aware of what I'm doing inside of my apartment, including the moment that I pull my panties down, revealing the sex offenders that they are. I speak in such explicit terms because you need to understand the perverts that are an entire entity that are keeping you under surveillance, and they're violent sex offenders, sitting in positions of law enforcement, sitting on benches in courthouses, practicing law as attorneys in courthouses, obstructing justice, engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, facilitating federal group stalking and monitoring, seeking to obstruct justice for being exposed as engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, and doing so in concert with the people. Demons like that, all they do is walk into the courtrooms of the entity, which are where the pattern of conduct remains underway. All right. And that is the people of the state. And that is the threat that the government poses while they're monitoring you, and doing so with a real-time knowledge of the fact that it is now being exposed. And this ongoing impunity that I continue to capture in an outright unnatural environment. This is evidence of the demonic. You know that those are all demons that are driving by. They're engaging in crossing a path and light activity, not traffic. Those are demons that are stalking in a helicopter. They're engaging in what is crossing a path while my voice is audible activity, while engineered light is present all on my ceiling in an impossible manner, where you're looking at what is, again, 8.5 or going on 9 hours in about 20 minutes regarding the maintenance of a light source that's under no circumstances anywhere over an Ovid family community library. That's not the sun that I'm capturing remaining in an entirely different region in this same position over my head at the same property. just as one example. This is the specific environment, and it is serving to prosecute, like I stated earlier. Lisa Rogan is going to federal prison. There are multiple terrorist agencies masquerading currently as law enforcement agencies, and what the entity is doing, as I remain in LA, is revealing what the entirety of the state of California, a large population already captured in video, images, and on podcast, waiting to be prosecuted federally, all right, for purposes of engaging what is the exposed criminal system by the state of California that's engaged in terrorism, and on the venue of the internet. So I want to make sure I document that. The entity is doing so with real-time knowledge, hostile to any and everything that it is maintaining knowledge of while it's engaged in corporate invasion of privacy. All right. So this is what motivates. This is what inspires a demon to engage in what is audibly stalking in a helicopter, even as Lisa Rogan's going to go to federal prison with that evidence. The entity provides an ongoing body of evidence while it is keeping me under surveillance and exhibits hostility to what it is frustrated, hostile to, as it listens to me and monitors what I'm looking at on my phone, on my television, what I'm looking at on my laptop, what I'm reviewing, what I'm documenting, exposing, publishing on my phone, what it is that I'm discussing inside of my apartment. Okay, this is the entity that's engaging in what is massive surveillance, and everybody on the grounds of Alvarado Gardens, they are all going to federal prison. Every single last unit. The entity, this is a small property. It's only 59 units, and you have what is a light source that's not possibly the sun. Well over 8 hours ago, while I was outside of my living room window. That's not the sun. This isn't sunlight. None of that is anything other than what you just saw. Traffic is relevant positioning. The traffic in the air, the helicopter is relevant positioning. This is the maintenance of light activity. It's entirely demonic. And you're looking at what is the demonic behavior of demons who want to appear normal while they're driving a car, while they're flying a helicopter. There's nothing normal about the demons of the men and women stalking in helicopters. That's abnormal on its face. The wealth of documentation speaking to what is outright stalking on its face by the state in the unnatural environment is exposing the demon possession by corrupt law enforcement agencies that are actually terrorist organizations in California. It is again 5:39 p.m. This is P.O.C.